You know, we hurt each other in relationships all the time. It's just part of being human. We're sensitive to certain things, and lots of times we trip over something that we don't even realize is there. And so the first part is that we got to actually start to recognize that. And if you get hurt, you got to help your partner recognize that he hurt you too, um, or that you hurt him, because it does go both ways. But the important part when you think about repairing something like that, and we're talking about day to day, relatively what we might consider minor injuries that can build up over time, by the way. But when we talk about repairing that, it can be done really quickly if you understand actually how to do an apology. Oftentimes, the response is some sort of reasoning for, this is really what I was doing. And in that, as you try to explain what's going on, it actually comes across as very defensive. And in that defensiveness, it's like, well, you are the one with the problem because I only had good intentions. And you discount the other person's feelings in the process. So that's something to really be aware of, that you don't go into an explanation or reasoning when the other person has been hurt. But you also have to know what it is you're actually apologizing for. And that's where it can get a little tricky, because if you think that, the problem was X and it was really A, then you're not going to do that apology well because you're apologizing for the wrong thing. So usually what an apology about is about hurting someone. It's about hurting their feelings or rejecting them in some way, but it's not usually about what your intentions are. It's the way the person receives it. And you can actually really help with healing that. So, one of the big mistakes that people will make, and I think men make it more often than women do, maybe because men don't often tell us that we've hurt them, but one of the biggest mistakes is that a man will say, "Well, I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings." And in that, that's implying that it shouldn't have hurt your feelings. If it did, you're really screwy, and I'm sorry you're so screwy. I mean, that's really how that sounds to somebody when you say, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. But when you say, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, you're stating a fact because you actually did hurt that person. Doesn't mean you intended to. It doesn't really mean you did anything wrong, because oftentimes what you did was just something perfectly normal, like not being where you were expected to be or forgetting something important. And the person gets hurt by it. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. You're just acknowledging, oh my goodness, I hurt you. I am so sorry. And then you let it go for a minute and see how your partner responds to that. And if you can tell, because there's like this physical relaxation instead of this, more intense approach. So when you get the relaxation a little bit and you feel your partner starting to kind of settle into that and receive that apology, then you can give your explanation. Then you can say, what's my intent? And then again go back and say, I'm really sorry that I hurt you. So the art of the apology, it's something we all need practice doing over and over again. Unfortunately, we have plenty of opportunity to do that because we continue to do things that bump into one another's tender spots on a regular basis. So